Before you begin your homework, I wanted to go over a few things. You will notice at the top of your paper a formula with it and where it says pulleys and force. This formula is mechanical advantage equals force out over force in. Force out, or R, is the weight of the object. You can think of this as resistance, R meaning resistance. If you weigh 100 pounds, there's 100 pounds resisting me from lifting you off the ground. So there's 100 pounds of weight resisting me. So when you think of force out, think of resisting and the weight resisting. When you are weighing an object, for this you need to use pounds, kilograms, or newtons. You can use any of these, you just need to use the same thing through all the whole problem. And usually you want to use whatever your scale is reading. In our case, in our experiment, we used pounds. Our pull scale was reading pounds, so we used pounds across everything. Our force out was our weight in our experiment was the bottle that weighed 4 pounds. The force in is how hard you are pulling, and this is labeled F. We were reading our pull scale, and we were getting different numbers, and we divided 4 by that number, and that gave us our mechanical advantage. The next thing that you notice on your homework sheet is MA equals R, or the force out, divided by F. This is the same formula as above in the box. If you have the force out, or the weight of the object, and you have the force in, or the scale reading, then you can easily find mechanical advantage by dividing those two. So if your problem is asking you to find mechanical advantage, this is the formula you will use. If your homework problem, however, is asking you for R, the weight or the force out, then you will need to use this second formula. That problem will give you the mechanical advantage that you can multiply by the force in, or your scale reading, and it will also give you that scale reading. So if your problem gives you the scale reading and the mechanical advantage, you can just multiply those together to get the force out or the weight. If your homework problem is asking you to find the force put in, or the scale reading, then that homework problem will have to give you the force out, the weight, and it will have to give you the mechanical advantage. Then you can just divide the weight by the mechanical advantage, which will give you the force in, or the scale reading. Something to remember: mechanical advantage is equal to the number of pulleys and equal to the number of strings. If you remember in our experiments, when we had 1 pulley, we had 1 string, and our mechanical advantage ended up being 1. When we had 2 pulleys, we had 2 strings, and our mechanical advantage was 2. When we had 3 pulleys, we had 3 strings, and our mechanical advantage was 3. And when we had 4 pulleys, we had 4 strings, and our mechanical advantage was 4. So if your problem doesn't give you the mechanical advantage, but it does give you the number of pulleys or the number of strings, you're still good to go. You can put the number of pulleys or the number of strings in for an MA. These are your 3 homework problems, and you will notice there are formula boxes for you to write in the formula that you're using for that problem. Go ahead, print this paper out, complete it, then take a picture of it and submit that picture into Schoology. So take a picture of it and submit it in your classroom in Schoology. If you have any questions or trouble submitting it in Schoology, send me a message.